What's the stimulation? Its action potential. That's what it is. Okay? Are we good? Yes. All right. So this picture is this picture. Now there's some things I don't care for you guys to know. I don't care. I don't care. First three lines I care. I just stated the first three lines about 10 seconds ago. Increasing the frequency, not the magnitude, increases tension. How? Calcium continues to be released with each stimulus. The myofibrils are continually activated. All right? I don't care about this. Don't worry about it. Then when it comes to tennis, I don't care about these two lines either. I care about the first five. I don't care about the last two. I want you to understand what tennis is. All right? I don't care if you are able to equate the lag phase and the contractile phase and the relaxation phase to any item, to this specific material. Okay? Are we good guys? All right? Now what? Now let's talk about a whole muscle. What time do we have? Okay, let's move to the front before we take a break. Contractile response for whole muscle. That was one muscle cell. Now we're not going to take one muscle cell. Now we're going to take a whole muscle. Bicep muscle, quadricep muscle, gastroc, doesn't matter. Just a muscle. Okay? And we're going to talk about the twitch of a muscle. Contraction and relaxation. Before we get to that though, we need to talk about a motor unit. What's a motor unit? We're going to draw one. Actually, we're going to draw a few. So this is a whole muscle right here. And again, name this, whatever muscle you want that to be is what that is. All right? And we're going to put muscle cells in this muscle. So your muscles are made up of individual muscle cells. All right, so each of those lines represents, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Let's just make it simple, just one muscle cell. Although that's complete folly because your muscles are made up of tens of thousands of muscle cells. Okay? So again, that could be a bicep muscle, whatever muscle you want that to be. That's a whole muscle. Now, each of those muscle cells must be controlled. Each of those muscle cells must be innervated. Each of those muscle cells must synapse with the lower motor neuron. So that's what we're going to draw now. We're going to draw lower motor neurons controlling that muscle cell. We're drawing the somatic nervous system again. Brainstem, cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral. I'll say it's the bicep muscle, so I'm going to come out of the cervical region. So we're going to have a single motor neuron here, that's the cell body. Here's the axon, and that axon is going to synapse with that muscle cell right there. All right? The axons, as you guys well know, branch. So not only is that axon going to synapse with that muscle cell, it's going to synapse with that one as well. And it's also going to synapse with that one. So those three muscle cells are controlled by that one motor neuron because that axon branched and controls all of these other muscle cells. That's what a motor unit is. A motor unit, as you see in your notes, is defined as one single motor neuron and all of the muscle cells that it controls, that it synapses with. So in this particular case, the way that I have drawn it, this motor unit is 3 muscle cells big because that one motor neuron is controlling those 3 muscle cells. All right? We still have 6 more muscle cells that need to be synapsed with the motor neuron. Otherwise, they're going to shrivel up and they're not going to work. So we have another motor neuron in this same area that's going to control and synapse with that, and that one, and that one. So again, we have a motor unit that's the same size. It doesn't mean that all motor units are the same size in muscles. They're not. They're usually close in size, and many times the same size, but it doesn't mean they have to be exactly the same size. We still have 3 muscle cells to go. That's going to be another motor neuron controlling them. 1, 2, and 3. Now every single muscle cell is being controlled by a single motor neuron. Okay? So again, let's make sure that we know what we're talking about here, what a motor unit is. A motor unit. What is it? One motor neuron in all of the muscle cells that it controls or that it innervates. It innervates. What's it? The axon. And we've drawn 3 motor units here. Okay? Are you with me? Now, when it comes to muscles, motor units are not always the same size. Certain muscles have bigger motor units than other muscles do. And so we're just going to go to the extremes here. The smallest muscle, or the smallest motor units are in muscles where we need fine control, fine motor control. So the muscles in your hand, for example, the thenar, hypothenar muscles that you guys should be familiar with. Muscles in your forearm. The muscles in your forearm and your hand have small motor units. Okay? That allows the muscle to do fine motor movements, like unbuttoning a shirt, like picking up this rubber band. That took fine motor skill. Okay? That's why your fingers, the muscles that control them, motor units are small, because it allows for fine motor skills. There are other muscles in your body where the motor units, so the motor units in your hands, for example, hand muscles, might be 5, 10, 15 motor units big. That's small. The motor units in your bicep, for example, in your core muscles, like your abdominal muscles, your erector muscles, your quadricep muscles, the motor units in those muscles are big, about 1,000. One motor neuron controls 1,000 muscle cells. So if we were to draw the motor unit of a muscle cell, or of a muscle in your leg, we'd be drawing for a long time here. I'd have to draw one motor neuron and 1,000 muscle cells innervating with it. Why? Because those muscles, you don't need fine motor movement in those muscles, your postural muscles, for example. You don't need fine motor movements like you do in your fingers. So in your notes, it states clearly, fewer muscle fibers in a motor unit allows for finer movements like your intrinsic hand muscles. Again, like the thenar muscles. Okay? Think of a puppet. If you have a puppet with a whole bunch of strings on it, can't you make it do more stuff? If you have a puppet with just a couple of strings on it, what's the puppet going to do? It's going to do like this. But you put a puppet with a whole bunch of strings on it, you can make the hands move, you can make it do all kinds, you can make it dance and do cool stuff. You can have finer motor skills, okay, with that puppet. Same thing happens with the way your muscles are put together, okay? So it's important for us to understand the motor unit and how a muscle is put together and how it is controlled for a number of other things we're going to talk about and what we're about to talk about right now. And that is, when it comes to the twitch of a muscle, a whole muscle, and making the tension higher and higher and higher and higher, it's all about the motor units, or at least that's what I'm going to concentrate on. And when we come back from the break, we're going to draw that picture. Okay? So let's take a break. When we come back, we shall continue our story.